So you know that I had to do a follow-up on my last video, and y'all know me, man. I gotta always double down. Now, in this video, I do want to really talk about the concept of gambling in video games, and certainly, at least in my honest opinion, when it comes to sports games, competitive sports games, I do not like the aspect of pay to win. The main modes that a lot of people play online, considering 2K, NBA 2K, that is, MLB The Show, FIFA, obviously, Madden, are the card-based games like Ultimate Team. And those are centered around loot boxes, in which you can spend money, real money, to buy them the packs in hopes to get players that you play other people online. I don't like that element. I've never liked it because what it does incentivize quite often with broken games is that it incentivizes you to spend a lot of money, and it rewards people for spending a lot of money and getting God squads, even though they aren't really that good at the game. So I've never liked that for games that claim to be competitive. I've never, ever, ever, ever liked that. I don't like pay to win when it comes to like my player with NBA 2K. And it looks like maybe they're moving in a different direction this upcoming year because they're sort of, changing how fast you can level up and stuff. But, you can pay a lot of money to level a guy up. And I think that's been a problem if we're going to talk about a competitive game. And I'm pretty sure there's numerous of other games that aren't card-based that are, we have problems with them. But out of this NBA 2K thing, I saw a lot of people lying. And my gripe was that there's one thing to argue no matter what your end game is, and that is maybe you want loot boxes completely out of games. You want people to be able to have experience. They spend $60 and they want to get a $60 experience. I understand that wholeheartedly. But you shouldn't have to make things up. Like the lie that was going around is that you spend real money to play casinos, essentially in NBA 2K. I have a stream. I have my previous video where I talked about that is not the truth. But it does show. I've seen guys like Angry Joe who's finally saying something about NBA 2K, and it goes to show they're jumping on the bandwagon because, for one, some of the things that he was griping about, like the little ball drop shit, is already in the game. It's been in the game. But there's actual gambling on the game already, in which you can play ante up. So if the issue is with kids are seeing this, you can play ante up right now. You've been able to do this for I don't know how many years on 2K, where you can get on my career, bet actual virtual currency that you can spend real money on, bet another team, right? And play against them, and the winner gets the money. That's in the game right now. And I talked about how the slot machine that they're talking about is only, you have those sort of casino-esque elements already in the game. You can't pay money and then get the casino. That's not how it works. That element is specifically the reward-based system, depending on how many games you win in a given mode. Whether you play it offline or online in that triple threat, you still get that little casino-esque sort of deal. Now, you can make an argument that it shouldn't be in the game and all of this shit, but those are completely different arguments that you don't have to lie about and say that, well, you pay money to didn't play the slot. That's not how the game works. So my thing, no matter if you agree or disagree, I don't care. A lot of these people agree. I agree with when it comes to, look, man, they doing some shady shit when it comes to how they monetize their games post-release. But I can argue that without having to lie on a position. But I have to say that it's comical for people to act like, well, this game is for the kids can play it. They say it's for the kids when it's not for the kids. Just because something is rated E does not mean that it's specifically for kids. It means everyone can play it. Grown ass folks are part of everyone. It's not necessarily geared for kids. Basketball, everybody plays that, right? So if that's your position, I just find it very comical. And I had some comments on that video. Again, people not even talking about the monetization part, saying, well, I don't want the UI. I don't want they don't need that. Slot machines in the game. Meanwhile, we are a generation that grew up watching this shit. Sonic has an entire fucking mode. Entire modes dedicated to goddamn casinos, man, that we grew up on. God forbid somebody see a slot machine. Meanwhile, a game centered around fucking collecting coins, goddamn. You see slot machines, all kinds of shit in that bitch. But God forbid they see that, right? And I don't know what it is, but I don't expect that from that counterculture. I expect that from leftists to, oh, well, what about the kids? Like, you can say you don't like some, or something shouldn't be there without some fucking, what about the kids? Like, what the come on, bros. Really? That's what I expect from the religious right, and I respect from the SJW left, who got to silence everybody. But I just find it weird that Chuck E. Cheese exists, ain't nobody bitching about, which is basically a literal fucking casino for kids. They can go to Chuck E. Cheese. They can go play all the games at Six Flags. They can go play all the games at the fucking fair. They can play bingo at the school. But God forbid they see a fucking casino on a 3v3 portion of a game, of a basketball game, that you see regardless if you spend money or not. That's what I don't understand. And those are terrible fucking arguments. If you want it out the game, let's say that. If you say, look, man, this shit is stupid, fine. I'm not going to argue with it. I've never once in that video, which you had people acting like I'm shilling for 2K, never once did I even defend the idea to have the shit in the video, in the game. I've never once, not even once, defended that position. Never once. Never once. But people got so triggered because I dared to point out what is objectively false. It is false. You cannot spend money and then play, like, you put the money in the game and then pull a slot. That's not how the game works. That is not how the game works. But if you actually played 2K, you would have been bitching a long time ago, considering the fact that the ante-up exists, which is actual gambling in the game right fucking now. But because that's not the new thing that the YouTubers will talk about, right? Angie Joe's wasn't talking about that, though that's existed for I don't know how long. He wasn't talking about that in NBA 2K. He was talking about like, oh, well, what about the My points? Like, my team points? I'm sitting there looking at these guys who've never played this fucking game. But they have such aggressive, strong opinions on it because they have an end game, which I ultimately may agree with. We do not have to be dishonest. We do not have to speak on things that we don't know about or don't understand, don't know how they work in order to reach that end game. That's not necessary. Stay in your motherfucking lane. That's all I'm saying. But the whole, I don't know if y'all think the ESRB or y'all think that, I don't know, the games have this responsibility for your kids, but goddamn, I don't understand how I grew up playing Sonic and bingo, going to Chuck E. Cheese and all of this types of shit, and which again, Chuck E. Cheese is a goddamn casino for kids. But now those were promoting gambling for kids, but God forbid they got to see a visual slot machine, right, on a game. That again, he don't have to pay to see that. God forbid he sees that as a reward system. Oh, we can't do that. Like, y'all motherfuckers sounding like the religious right, bro. I don't expect that from them. But I do expect people to make arguments, good arguments, at the very least. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to make an argument about loot boxes and stick to the script, just stick to what you know. Just argue the actual position. Don't have to make shit up. Don't have to lie. I'm of the opinion that I hate when NBA 2K, for example, a game that I've played, I want to fix the gameplay first and foremost. I want to make for a competitive game. I don't like pay-to-win elements in games at all. I wish loot boxes, maybe for the most part, maybe were cosmetic. I don't know. But I don't like those elements when it comes to competitive games. Offline, guys playing against themselves, whatever. Throw $1,000 in there. If you're going to pay for it, fuck it. I don't care. But when it comes to competitive gaming, I think that that's dishonest, that a lot of people have pay-to-win schemes and try to present themselves as a competitive-based game. Certainly when your game is broke, certainly when it's a sports game and you're basically saying that you have to have a God squad to even compete. I don't like that. But I can argue against those systems without having to lie. Believe it or not. And the casino stuff, I can understand where people are coming from, but I think, look, a kid seeing a goddamn jackpot At Chuck E. Cheese. Come on, like what is this? He got this little jackpot shit behind him. Like this is literal fucking casino for kids, yo. That's what it is. But who the fuck is all mad at Chuck E. Cheese for exposing these kids to gambling? Nobody. Look, bros. All I'm saying, do your research. Me, gambling, I ain't gonna keep my kid in a bubble like that. I think he can handle maybe seeing a slot machine if he can go to Chuck E. Cheese and have fun. We can play all these damn games at the arcades where we're dropping in tokens, trying to get these little mechanical arms and shits, and we don't come out with nothing. Apparently all that shit's fine. But God forbid we play a fucking game. A PlayStation game. Xbox game where, the kids see a slot machine. You can sit up here and say that's not the argument. That's the argument that I'm addressing. That's the argument that I'm specifically addressing. I don't care who you are. There's no need to make things up in order to argue a position that, again, I have too many videos talking about this stuff in gaming and this problem. So I'm not against that, but what I am against, because it does hurt the argument long term, is a bunch of people making things up and being misleading. That's not necessary. This should be straight shot. There's a problem. This is why. Let's not make things up. Okay? But I think the kids will be all right. I don't think the shit should be in the game because the game needs to be fixed. And I don't like pay to win elements. So I think that more so, I would love for it to be a scale where there's not a randomized reward. You play the game, you win this amount of games, you get this reward. And those exist already in NBA 2K, my team. Already exists. But unfortunately, there's other ways to get these teams by just paying money and then buying a bunch of packs hoping to get lucky. Hell, in some cases, you don't get lucky. You may spend $500 and might not get a goddamn thing on there. So, I don't like it because this is supposed to be a competitive game, right? But I ain't got a signal to the kids, the poor kids. Me growing up playing Sonic, hitting the goddamn jackpot or getting randomized loot in a glass box on Mario, or playing some mechanical arm game at the fucking fair or Chuck E. Cheese's or the arcade. Like, I grew up doing all of that. I was all right. I don't gamble at all. I don't go to casinos. I don't do that shit. So I play Pokemon cards. Play a Pokemon game had casinos in it. Shit. Pokemon cards, which are just effectively loot boxes. Like, I don't want to signal to the kids, right? That's like, we're doing it for your kids. Look what they're doing to their kids. Like, nigga, just say you don't like it. That's fine. That's fine. But signaling to the kids, man, considering all the stuff that they can see now, and you're willing to be inconsistent on these people, these kids at the fair right now, or at Six Flags right now, at Chuck E. Cheese probably right now, playing games at their party that are basically just childish slot machines. And you mean to tell me if they see a visual one on an NBA 2K, they're telling your kids to gamble? Well, y'all should be hanging Chuck E. Cheese if that's the case.